Hi, it's Sandra. I'm going to talk to you today about a type of product that you may not have actually come across before. But first of all, I want to just quickly show you this. This is just a tea light set in a shot glass. And this is what would normally be used by crafters to make the shade, a piece of vellum. Now, unless you have patterned vellum, it isn't particularly interesting, okay? Even if you had this in a wine glass, which is another way of doing it, you put the candle in a wine glass and make a bigger shade to go over the top of the wine glass. Even if you did that, it wouldn't be unduly interesting because the vellum is plain. And if you're like me and you can't get hold of patterned vellums very easily, you kind of run out of choices because you can't paint this with watercolour because it will just not take. And heat embossing, you can heat emboss vellum, but you have to be very careful. So what would I do instead? Well, I have here another shade top, but this on its own is not substantial enough to be a shade, not really. However, what you can do is put it on top of a vellum one, and I've used a yellow vellum deliberately so you can actually see it, but you could use a colourless vellum, and then it becomes more substantial and much better to use. So what is this stuff? This is embroidery backing. Now I buy it, I've got lots of it at the moment in squares like this. I think it's a company, GS Direct or something like that. It's in the UK. And they sell all sorts of things like threads for embroidery and backings and stabilizers and all sorts of stuff. So I've got lots of this stuff. Now it cuts like a dream. It cuts like a fine paper. It doesn't fray. It doesn't have any pilling. It doesn't have any lint. And it's pretty tough stuff. However, what you can do with it, which you can't do with very thin paper, is watercolour it. And this is just something that I was playing with this morning, and I haven't actually made up my mind what I'm going to do with this piece. I was just having a bit of fun. But this stuff you can get as wet as you like, and it's not going to wrinkle, crinkle and get revoltingly ugly looking, okay? So if you want something that is still transparent, you can see my fingers through there, but will take watercolour, which vellum won't. And you can, as you can see on here, I've already done some heat embossing, because you can iron this stuff if you want to, it doesn't matter. That's what it's designed to do, get hot and wet and have stitches put through it. You can do your design as you like on this, and it's a lot easier to do this than it is, for example, to get the same type of effect on a transparent or a thin paper. If you were to do this on printer paper, it would be a complete mess. It would just be wrinkled and ugly. But with this, it's fine. You can dry it off with a hairdryer or a heat tool if you want to. In this particular case, I embossed it first and then I put the colour on. So I let it dry naturally because I didn't want to go over the embossing with another heat tool. You can glue it. It will glue quite easily. You can tape it. And if I turn it over, if you want to apply it without any adhesive being seen, either use a spray adhesive and just give it a light coat of that, which shouldn't show through, or you can use adhesive glue pen or whatever over the lettering that you have done, if you've done lettering or design, and then you can turn it over and press it down onto your project. So it has multiple uses, but you can see how this would be very nice if it were to be made into a lampshade. Now you might say, well, okay, why not use watercolour paper if you're making a lampshade? There's a very good reason for that, because watercolour paper is not transparent. It is completely opaque and you're not going to see much light through it if you only have tea lights. And I would never advise using actual flames of candles, proper candles, in any kind of decorative ornament, as it were. It's just not safe. So tea lights are not very strong in their light, but you can see them through this. If I switch this one on, actually I might have to pull the blind down so you can actually see it. Hold on a second. Pull down the blind. There we go. Okay, so you can see that. Wow, that looks good. And if I put this in front of it, you can see that you can get the effect of the colours quite nicely. Okay, now mine happens to be a colour changing bulb, by the way, just in case you were wondering. And there we go. But if I were to put something else in front of it, and I haven't got a sheet of watercolour paper in front of me. If I was to put watercolour paper in front of that, you wouldn't see the light at all, which kind of defeats the object of having a candle at all. So there you go. If you have any shops around that sell sewing materials, the chances are you may well find that they sell embroidery backing. You may find, although I've not tried it because I haven't got any, I haven't had any for years, the sort of stabiliser that you use for collars and cuffs and things like that in dressmaking, that may be relatively similar if you get a fine one. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Hope it's been of interest to you. Take care now. Bye bye.